Relationship advice. Updated. My husband's sister moved into our home for a temporary amount of time, but now refuses to leave. To give some context beforehand, when my husband and I were building our newly built, the house we currently own and reside in now, we had to stay with my in-laws. They were nice enough to ease that bit of a financial burden on us while our house was being built. During the time there, my husband's sister, 22, was living there with her 2 kids and 1 baby on the way. Well, least to say, I hated living there, especially around her. She's messy, she's dirty, doesn't pick up after herself or her kids, doesn't clean around the home, doesn't contribute to any of the household income. Nothing. She's never had a job and doesn't even know how to drive, so for obvious reasons, she doesn't have an income. Fast forward to my husband and I living in our new 5-bedroom home, his sister ended up moving in with her baby daddy. We thought they were doing fine, until she came crying to us, literally knocking at our doorstep in the middle of the night, saying baby daddy kicked her out because he's tired of her. I felt so bad for her. We let her stay at our place. I asked her what happened, and she said he's done. So, her baby daddy and I aren't that close, but I did ask him if everything was okay, just because she has a tendency to lie sometimes. Baby daddy said he was tired of coming home to a dirty home, to eat fast food all the time, because she doesn't know how to cook, to having their sons constantly sick because all they eat is ramen and fast food. He's tired of it. He told me that he shouldn't have to work 12 hours a day and come home to a mess, nothing cooked, etc. Before she moved in with baby daddy, I encouraged my husband's sister to learn how to cook, that I could teach her, but she declined. It's been 2 months now since we let her stay at our house. Luckily, it's big enough, but she doesn't pull her weight around the home. I'm tired of waking up to screaming kids while I'm currently pregnant myself. I'm tired of seeing the living room a mess while she sleeps in late until 1 p.m. I'm tired of her freeloading off of our stuff. I refuse to cook more than I have to. I let her figure it out herself. My husband buys her food or fast food, but I told him not to do that. I told him it's not our nor his responsibility to have to be providing for the babies either. The babies, I'll give a snack too. I'll make sure they're eating right, but it's still not my responsibility. I told my husband that I was tired of it, and he said there was nothing he can do because that's his sister. I told him that she could go with either one of his parents, since they're divorced. She has plenty of options in family. But she says she doesn't want to be a handful for them because of the kids. Well, frankly, she's a handful for me too. In one instance, there was a handful of dirty dishes that have been stacking up for the day while my husband and I worked. They were all from her and the babies. I was so mad, I washed them all, and she asked if I was nesting. Some of our family members came unexpectedly, and in front of them all, I said, "No, I'm not nesting. I'm cleaning up the dirty dishes you've let yourself accumulate and not care to even wash." She gave me the dirtiest of looks. I've told my husband to talk to her about leaving, and she won't leave. She just won't. I told him it's either me and the family he's decided to create with me or his sister. I told him that until she's not out of this house, I'll be leaving, and I won't be coming back. It's began to take such a toll on my marriage with my husband. I'm not sure what's going to happen. I'm not sure what to do anymore. How do I make her leave my home? How do I make my husband understand that I don't want her here? She's not my responsibility. Now, for the top advice before reading the first update. I told him it's either me and the family he's decided to create with me or his sister. I told him that until she's not out of this house, I'll be leaving, and I won't be coming back. Good, but you cannot make that an idle threat. Give him a deadline, and if the situation with his sister isn't resolved, leave. If you do nothing, you will never have any voice in your marriage because he will know your threats mean nothing. I agree with this. Also, OP, all this stress isn't good for you or your baby. Does your husband not understand that this can compromise yours and your baby's health? She needs to go if she can't pull her weight because your house is not a hotel and you are not her maid. I'm starting to believe the reason she's like this is because her family lets her do as she wishes without any real consequences. I understand that's your husband's sister, but she's a leech and needs some tough love because she clearly doesn't understand how to adult. Do not let your husband keep enabling this behavior or they both can leave. It's time to give him an ultimatum. You know, it's your home as well. You are within your right to kick her out. You can either leave it in the hands of your husband, who doesn't seem willing to do much about it, or go to your sister-in-law yourself and tell her that she has 30 days to find a new place, while telling your husband that if she isn't gone by then, you'll be the one leaving. If she has the tiniest bit of common sense, she would rather leave than destroy her brother's marriage, I hope. I can't believe she has children while still being such a child herself. This. Talk to a lawyer and give her written notice so the police can help her leave if she refuses. You have done what has been needed. You set a guideline for your husband. Now it's up to him to be a limpy or not. His responsibilities are to you. He married you. He has begun a family with you. His sister is messing with this relationship and he needs to fix this before he tries to help his sister. Now you have to back up what you have said. If you don't, you will lose all credibility when making future threats. Tell him your time limit. Once crossed, be gone. No exceptions. Doesn't matter if you know damn well she's gone in 1 more week. Leave. Congrats on the baby. I do hope your husband prioritizes his family first soon here. I will talk to him about setting limits and trying to have that be the pressure of him needing to get her out of here. I don't want to be the one always forcing the issue down his throat. I hope he'll be conscious enough to have that at the back of his head so he can be proactive about the situation. And now for the first update. First off, thank you all for the advice and suggestions. I sat down with a lawyer and talked about if it's possible for the sister to be considered a tenant, and if so, can we charge rent? Well, luckily in my state, my sister-in-law isn't considered a tenant, so I would not have to charge rent. I also wouldn't have to serve her with any type of tenant eviction as there is no binding contract. Because of this, I have obtained a notarized letter that is allowing her 30 days to pick up her things and leave. I'm being courteous enough in giving her that much time. I've decided to do this before sitting down and speaking to my husband about the issue. After I obtained a notarized letter, I spoke with my husband. I told him how I felt about my home looking like a mess, how I shouldn't be having to take care of his sister and children, being pregnant, and how she should be responsible enough to be able to take care of herself. We both agreed to sit down with her and talk to her. The next day, as we sat down and talked with her after we got home from running some errands, I let him talk. I let him tell her that she was no longer welcome in our home. He told her the reasons: being slob, not picking after her children, not contributing to our household in any way, and making my pregnancy a living hell. I realized how it sort of pained him to have to tell her that, but it's something she needed to know. While having this discussion, she retaliated and said she was being attacked and wouldn't leave because she didn't have elsewhere to go. I told her she did. She could go to my in-laws, other family members, but inside my home, to live in, she was no longer welcome. She made a smart-ass comment of saying, "You're going to toss me out in the middle of the pandemic?" And I said yes. Yes, I am. I told her she has people to go to and live with, that my home wasn't her new nesting ground, and that she should have thought about a comment she just made when her baby daddy kicked her out. I pulled out the eviction notice and told her she has 30 days to get her stuff together, or else I'm going to be calling the cops to have her removed from my home. My husband wasn't too proud of it and was mad that I would actually serve her with a notice. I told him right in front of my sister-in-law that if she doesn't leave in 30 days, that I will, and he will not be allowed to see me or the baby until she's out of the house. I told him I didn't bust my butt working so she can enjoy the luxuries and commodities I've been working so hard to enjoy myself. She won't have her own room at my in-laws? Oh well, go get some job experience and get an apartment. Can't keep baby daddy to stay with you because you can't seem to learn how to cook or clean, or have a basic sense of maintaining a household. Should have thought that before opening your legs and deciding to get pregnant again with a third child. All in all, she's been served with an eviction notice and I have packed my bags in case she doesn't leave. I have taken pictures of valuable items in my home and pictures of her current living situation. Dirty rooms, the mess she leaves laying around for days, the kids not being fed a proper meal. Everything. My lawyer has recommended that if she does not leave and my husband decides to have her stay and he'd be responsible, then I should consider filing for divorce. I set my foot down and listened to you all. Thank you again for your comments and supportive advice. I will keep you updated as the situation progresses. Now for some comments before reading the final update. Hell yes, you're awesome. Stick to your guns. Baby's so lucky to have a mom with such a shiny spine. Good for you for having the gumption, strength, and courage to stand up for yourself. Plus, having the wherewithal to get the eviction notice done and the photos taken. I'll be interested in the update. Very proud of you to stay strong. I hope your husband makes the right decision and stand with you at the 30-day mark. To be honest, she should count her lucky stars for being reasonable enough to give her 30 days notice. If this was me, and she disrespected my house and me like that, she'd be out. Pandemic or no pandemic. Your husband should support your decision, as you're doing it for you both and your child. Thank you for having the courage to stand up and not just sit and take it. I think I speak for us all when we are all rooting for you, and I'll keep lookout for the 30-day update. Stay strong. Now for the final update. I'm sorry to have kept you all waiting for the situation regarding my sister-in-law. Here is the last and final update on the situation. Soon after I gave her the notice, I got the cold shoulder from sister-in-law and my husband for about a week or so. I absolutely hated having to sleep beside my husband, knowing he disliked what I did. Eventually, he came around and realized what this was doing to our family. When in an instance he was working from his office, and the babies were out in the living room, some crying non-stop and she was in her room while talking on her phone. That's when he saw and realized that she was being neglectful. The rift this was causing in our family and knew something needed to be done about it. During this time, that sister-in-law wasn't talking to me at all. She posted comments about me on social media, and tried to, in a way, drag me for the decision I made regarding her living situation. Well, family members who were aware of the situation sent me screenshots and I kept it for court records if necessary, about what she was saying about me online. Calling me toxic and that I thought I was better than everyone else because I had everything, and that if it weren't for her brother, my husband, that I wouldn't have what I have now. Well, not that it matters, but I am very well set off with the business I decided to run 2 years ago, so I don't need your brother's money. But nice try. I did gather some information packages about childcare and where she could go and drop off her kids for free in some well-trusted places and so on, so she can get a job and attempt to make some progress. But she threw them out. I tried. At around maybe like 25-ish days was when she moved out, and her baby daddy ended up taking her back. I had the locks to my home changed and was able to restore some peace into my home. My husband's family had mixed feelings about the situation and how it was handled. But if no one else was going to show her some tough love or be responsible for their own blood acting like this, then I don't know who would. It was so easy for some to judge when they weren't even willing to help her out at all. It really sucks that it went this far, and that my husband only gets to see his nephews on occasion. But I guess better me than blood family, right? If it were my Hispanic family members in this position, they would have been booted out of their household without hesitation until they figured it out. And that's the kind of tough love I grew up with. Sounds a bit harsh, but definitely does work. I don't know. I feel somewhat horrible. But also, I would never take advantage of someone else's hospitality the way she did. I'm coming up very close to my due date, and as it gets bigger and a little more unable to do much around the house, I'm just glad it's clean. Thank you all once again for riding in this journey for me, and if by any reasons there are any future updates, I will let you know. Now for some comments. Your husband's a piece of work, and now you know that. I don't think this situation makes the husband a POS. Sometimes we turn a blind eye to the actions of those we love. Also, he may be more used to his sister's behavior since he's likely put up with it his entire life. Sounds like he needed a wake-up call. If your husband's family had such mixed opinions about it, I'm sure the ones who disliked what you did would be more than willing to open up their home to her. I'm sad your husband is such a jerk that he had to witness her behavior himself instead of just believing you. He had to be negatively impacted, babies crying and annoying him when sister was supposed to be watching them, before agreeing she was a problem. Once this settles down, you need to remind your hubby dearest that forsaking all others includes his family. All others, not most others. Spouse comes before everyone, even his own mother. Same for you. If that is not a commitment he can make, you shouldn't stay married to him. You can be friends, but he's not husband material. Now for the last story. My mom and sister want me to break up with my boyfriend because she's now dating his brother. And since they're older and more mature, their relationship is more serious. I'm a junior in college and I've been with my boyfriend since the beginning of sophomore year. It's been a year. We are both 21. I know it's only been a year, but I really love him. And we even have plans of living together soon and have started touring apartments. Our relationship is great, He treats me well and we click so good. My parents loved him and his family and approved of him greatly as well. Our families have met twice. Both times were great, and when I introduced my sister, 31, to his brother, 32, I didn't think it would ever get romantic or even friendly, honestly. But apparently, they exchanged social medias and numbers and started being friends and doing things together. My mom and sister would tell me she's seeing a friend, and I would later find out it was my boyfriend's brother. I thought it was really weird, but oddly, my mother would encourage it and says they're really good together. I asked her what that meant, and she said she's never seen my sister click with a guy so much. At that point, I was already disgusted because, hello, that's my boyfriend's brother. Why does it seem like you want them together? My mom told me that I'm young and to hush, basically. A few weeks ago, my sister and him were at the house when I got back from work to tell me that they have been dating for a few months and are now official. They hadn't told my boyfriend, but my sister wanted me to know first because she wanted to be honest with me. We got into a big argument. My boyfriend's brother then left to their family house to tell him, while my sister tried to explain to me that she couldn't help falling in love with him, and that she's older than me and looking for something serious. And at 21, I'm just starting my life and will probably date a lot of guys, and I need to just accept that she's with him and they're interested in something long-term or even marriage. Later, my mom came home and co-signed it, saying that I'm really young, and my boyfriend and I's year is nothing compared to two people in their 30s, both looking for the same thing. My boyfriend's parents don't care that he's still with me, but his brother is telling him he needs to break up with me. We've already spoken for hours about this the past few weeks, and decided not to break up because his brother and my family wants us to. We're still planning on moving together. We were together first, so why should I end things because my sister and his brother are now serious? My family's all bullying me and ganging up on me every day, saying I'm selfish and that in a few years' time, I'll look back after dating different guys and I'll see how big of an a-hole I am. My sister is saying that she and his brother want to start a family and life together. And at 21, I'm not interested in having a serious family and relationship. And I'm rubbing her off that chance because she doesn't have forever. And she found the one. And I'm too young to know what I truly want. But am I? Now for the top advice. I'm super confused as to why you can't both date who you want. They seem pretty unrelated to me. In fact, you breaking up with your guy could cause issues between the families, right? My mom thinks it's shameful. I honestly don't care what people think because I was with my boyfriend first. My sister and mom think that me dating into her future husband's families is nasty. And is basically my brother-in-law now. And that we were casual friends before we started dating, so we should just go back to being casual friends. Tell them to screw off. Yes, was just going to say this. They don't know what the future holds. He could well be her forever person, and even if not, you got together first. They're just starting drama. It's not incest or anything weird. It happens all the time. I've been happily married for 10 years. My older brother is married to my wife's older sister. It's kinda nice having someone I know there when I go to see my in-laws. Edit. If you want to break up with someone, break up with the people being a-holes about the situation. You don't need them in your life. My grandma and her sister married my grandpa and his brother. It's not uncommon or incestuous at all. My dad calls his cousins his double cousins, and if he needs a kidney or something, he has his brother and 3 cousins who could all be a genetic match. Sounds like a win to me. And that's the end of this video, folks. As always, leave a comment and hit like and subscribe. And if you want more of this content, turn your notification on to get updated on the latest videos. And I'll catch you in the next one. Stay safe.